Good afternoon, everybody. Great to see everybody here this afternoon. So glad you could join us. Good group. We got a few more jumping on too, so that's great.
Yeah, I'll get us going. Dale, get us started. Thanks for the attendance. And welcome to today's webinar. Happy Monday, by the way. Quality versus quantity, commercial real estate transactions, hosted by MAPS coach Dale Donovan B. Before I kick it over to her, I just have 3 quick announcements. Please note this meeting is being recorded. I will share the link in the chat momentarily to our MAPS YouTube channel, where the recording will be available within 24 hours. Currently, everyone is on mute. However, we do value group participation. So we ask that if you have any questions for Dale, please type them into the chat box and she'll address them as best she can throughout the webinar. Following the meeting, if you have any questions about today's call or any other coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com, fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me. Dale, it is your time.
Well, thanks, Graham. I'm Dale Donovan B. For those that have not met me before, I am pleased to be with you today. I am a MAPS mastery coach for commercial exclusively. I have been in the industry for over 3 decades and with KW Commercial since 2010, and a MAPS coach for about 2.5, 3 years now. So it's a pleasure for me to be able to join you today and to help a little bit with the market that we're going through today and talk a little bit about how we can increase our GCI with the infamous expression, more with less, a Gary Keller expression. I have joining me today, Graham from MAPS, who has been my right arm in helping me with all of these programs and webinars. And also I have my virtual assistant, Tris Fabular, and joining us as well. So thank you for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. I see some familiar faces here. I see some people that I know and some new faces as well. So I look forward to getting to know you. If you have the opportunity, I'd appreciate it if you turn your cameras on so I can get to know your faces as well as see your names. So that'd be awesome. Today we're going to do quality versus quantity. What does that mean? Well, we all like to create the opportunity to do more with less effort. And that's working efficiently. And one of the ways that we can do that, and we found has been successful, next slide, please, Tris, is looking at the opportunity of how we can do that with fewer transactions and quality transactions. So those are the topics that we're going to be addressing today. So as most of you may know, we have a sweet spot in KW Commercial. It ranges from probably about 500,000 to about 15 million. There are deals that are below that, and there are deals that are above that in KW Commercial. But that seems to be our sweet spot, and it seems to be where we're doing extremely well. By the way, I have the opportunity to tell you what has been going on in KW Commercial. You know, for a long time, we've been looking for the numbers and trying to be able to establish ourselves as one of the top brokerages in the U.S. Well, guess what? We've got the numbers. For the first time, we have real numbers about who we are as KW Commercial. You ready? A little bit of a drum roll here. $22 billion last year. That's our number for KW Commercial. And that's a number that you can use out there as you're talking to your clients and talking to potential recruits and people that you want to bring on to KW Commercial, and touting ourselves as one of the tops in the nation now. $22 billion. It is awesome. Fantastic number. So our sweet spot in doing that, now naturally, as I said, we've had 20, 30, $40 million transactions. Those have been predominantly in the multifamily section, but our sweet spot is 500,000 to about 15 million. We average probably around somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 of commission. In the leasing, the minimum net commission that we're looking at is probably around $5,000 that we would be hoping for and that we plan for. And under the $2,500 mark in a referral, we don't even offer any commissions. So that kind of gives you what we have as a general idea of what our transactions look like. So now we're going to talk a little bit about, next slide, please, Tris. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. So quality, business standards, who are we? As KW Commercial, our reputation has to be intact when we head out into the commercial world, into our business world. We have the standards that we meet as quality. That means that we are high integrity, that we work, only with the win-win in mind. And we use our culture as part of the standards, as the key standards and the foundation for who we are as KW Commercial. When we take those business standards out, the reciprocity from our client back to us is loyalty. It is, they show us by signing an exclusive representation or exclusive buyer or listing representation with us. They have proof of funds for us so that we don't have to be concerned about whether they're qualifying or not. And we'll talk a little bit about the NUMERAL qualifications as well too. And if they're tenants, we also provide the tenant application so that they can have the proof that they are who they say they are and that they have the financial capability to talk about the leasing with the tenant or with the landlord and the landlord's broker. Okay, for prospects, one of the ways that we're qualifying is such a critical component to what we're doing as commercial agents. We know we've gone down the path, we've wasted time, we've all learned the hard way of taking on a client that wasn't qualified. Oh, I know that they said they could do it and we can do it. And yes, we'll move forward because they're a friend or a family, or I've known them before, we've done business before, and you get down to doing a letter of intent or having them provide, yes, the slide deck will be posted, and getting them to provide the information or the funds, and they don't have it. And then we've got mud in our face and our reputation has been ruined. We only have one chance, particularly if we're working with a new broker, a commercial real estate broker, to show our standards and to show our worth. And that's the first time we bring a client out. So it's not only the quality of the client that we're establishing, it's also our quality as a professional and commercial real estate broker to bring the right type of prospects and clients and buyers and tenants to the table for the outside brokers. So it's very, very important for us to establish our reputation right off the bat with all of the new brokers that we're coming in to and meeting. So working with our buyers and our tenants, some of the questions that we work with for prospecting and doing lead gen: have you ever owned, leased, or invested before in commercial real estate? Are you currently working with an attorney, preferred lender, or a preferred broker? Are you currently looking at any specific properties? Let me back up for a second. Are you currently working with an attorney, preferred lender, or broker? Sometimes that question, that question mark at the end there, are you working with another broker? I don't know whether it's intentional or not, but a lot of times people won't tell us the truth. So they'll say, no, I'm not working with a broker. So I don't even ask that question anymore. I have a question that I present to them, and it gets them curious, and it has them answer correctly. So I say to them, tell me, before, as I'm getting to know you, tell me what properties you've seen before that you liked or you didn't like. Because I don't want to have to, show you something or waste your time. Now they'll tell me. I'll say, well, how did you see that property? Oh, well, I drove by and I walked in and blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, so-and-so with this company showed it to me. Now you know. But if you ask them straight out, have you worked with another broker, they're generally going to tell you no, because they don't want you to know that. They think that they're going to trick you into working with them for free. So, tell them right off the bat, or ask them right off the bat, what properties have you seen before that you liked or didn't like? Then they'll tell you. They'll talk to you about it. Are you currently looking at any specific properties? That also helps you understand whether they've seen anything or they've walked out on their own and tried to do something. Is this a standard acquisition, or is this, ask a little bit of question, or a few questions about whether this is, a standard acquisition, or whether this is how long they want the term of the lease, and those kinds of questions. For sellers, how long have you owned the real estate? We're having to qualify our sellers now. And we'll go into a little bit more about what those things are, that we're looking to qualify our sellers. But, has the property been listed before? A lot of times if I get a listing for a property or an opportunity for a listing, I'll just Google the address and it'll pop up. And it'll say how long ago, or it'll show it that it was on CoStar or LoopNet or some other, listing service. And it'll show me that it was out there, and it'll show me when they had it listed and what they asked for it. And if it had been listed, and, if it was real or if it sold or whatever, you kind of get an idea of what's going on with the property. So I'm a Google queen. I do a lot of research beforehand. What type of real estate do you own? Other than this particular property, what other type of real estate do you own? And will this be a 1031 exchange, cash out, or other type of disposition? So these are the kind of questions that kind of get you to know who these prospects are and help you in this qualifying process. Next slide, please, Tris. We could do a lot of deals. It's like we could do 10 deals at 15,000 in commission and do 150, or we could do 10 deals at 25 or 30,000 in commission and do twice that amount of money. And working with my clients one-on-one, and also working with my commercial mentorship clients that are in my group class, one of the things that we work very hard on is making sure that the quality of the deals match the direction that we're going and match our goals. If you're doing deals that are under 500,000 in commercial real estate, you're wasting a lot of time, energy, and effort. And you're higher the value of your property, the better clientele that you're going to be working with, and the less time you're going to waste having to hold their hand and walk them through the process. As you can tell, I'm not very direct. This is not a time that we need to convince somebody that they need to do something, or to convince somebody they have to prove that they can do the deal. This is a time where they have to prove to us that they are going to be the prospect that we need to be working with, because time is precious right now, and every day can mean a different kind of deal and situation that we're in. We used to look at ready, willing, and able, or as we say now, able, ready, and willing. Those words mean a lot of different scenarios, but if they're able, if they're ready, and if they're willing, that can all be very well the case. They can be financially capable. They can be ready to do either their lease is up, or they're ready to make a purchase, or they're ready to make a relocation. They're willing to do it. The timing is right. The opportunity is there for them. All the ducks are in a row. All the paperwork is right. Everything is done. Now, here's the one that we've added because of what the market is doing. It's, what are their expectations? Do their expectations meet the market? I think this one is more critical than the others, because after you've got them ready, willing, and able, do their expectations meet what the market is telling you is going to be happening? Are their prices too high if they're a seller? Does the tenant or the buyer want a property that their budget can afford but they don't want to pay for? This is not the market for us to be trying to convince people to understand what the market is doing. They're either with it. Naturally, we're going to be salespeople. Naturally, we're going to be brokers. Naturally, we're going to be able to give them the aspects of the deal that are important, that give them, the time that they can be able to do this deal and transaction. But I think the most important aspect of all is, what are their expectations? What are they really expecting out of this deal? And does it really match the market? And if it doesn't, you need to let them know that it doesn't and move on. Systems, qualifying prospects. What do you use to qualify your prospect? I have people say, oh yeah, I do it. Do you have a system to do it? These are the things that we have found have been extremely successful, not just in my world, but in other successful brokers' worlds. A business plan is absolutely imperative, particularly if it's a new business. If they don't have a business plan, you can direct them to SBA.gov. You can direct them to SCORE, which is a volunteer organization of real estate executives that help you get through your business plan. The SBA.gov site has every business plan for any kind of business you could possibly imagine, and they have examples of all of those. You need to have a lender in place. This is for your purchaser and your buyer. You need to be able to make sure that they have that lender, that you can communicate with the lender, that they have proof of funds. They can't just tell you they have it. You have to have the proof of funds. The financial, again, proof of funds, sufficient funds for the first, last, and security on your leasing, for renovation, for your TI, for your FF&E. And sometimes the landlord will look at the qualifications, financial qualifications, and say to, themselves, well, let's look at the bank statement. Do they have enough money to get them through for the next 6 to 9 months, particularly if it's a new business, without having income? Because sometimes it takes that long for them to build a profit. So that's some of the criteria that I use. Tax returns, 2 years of business, if they've been in business before, and this kind of business, to show that they have the ability to be able to run the business. And if they don't have the 2 years previous experience in business, then 2 years of personal tax returns are going to be required. I have a tenant application. Some of you have seen it before. If it's something that you would like, when we send out this replay, I can include a tenant application on there if you would like that. So, Chris, remind me to put the tenant application on the replay email that we send out. And this tenant application has a little bit of everything. One of the things that it does have on it, though, it asks for the business plan, it asks for, the bank statement. It has a financial statement on it. It has references on it. It has a lot of information about, what your business plan is, and the business plan needs to be attached to it. But one of the things that's on there and needs to be removed is they ask for the Social Security number, and I take that off. Some people don't want to share that, and I understand why. So I take that Social Security number off of there. So it'll come to you, the tenant application will come to you in a Word document. If you don't have one, you can use this one as a template, modify it to your state. All the states have different laws of things that are required to make it effective. So, so make sure that you have something that is going to be fitting your state, that you have an attorney that you can talk to that'll help you pro bono and figure out whether this is an accurate tenant application for you or not. And if the prospect says, well, I don't need to fill an application now, I don't need all this, I just want to see some spaces. No, in order to see the spaces, you need to have the tenant application completed and the other documents to go along with it. Because if you don't, you're not competitive in the market. And neither are we as brokers. Reminders is the landlord's requirement. It's not that we're asking for it. This is what the documentation that the landlord or the landlord's broker is going to require from us. So if we say, I need this, it doesn't have the impact with the prospect of saying the landlord is requiring this or the landlord's broker requires this. So that way we have the significant impact of the landlord being able to require it. And there will be a credit check. So be sure that they understand that, I'm sorry, something popped up on my screen. I apologize. It was a chat. There will be a credit check and a reference history check. So make sure they understand that. And there's an authorization of that on the tenant application form that I'm sending you. Next slide, please, Chris. NUMERAL qualifications. And this is the document that I'm going to be sending you. And I'll tell you a little bit about this. These are the ways that you can qualify your prospects. What are the needs? What are their property type? What's the urgency? Soon, now, when? If somebody comes to you and said they need this yesterday, they are probably not a real client. Be very cautious of the urgency factor. Yes, you want them to do it soon. Yes, you want them to do it as quickly as possible. But if they come to you and they say, I need this yesterday, they're probably not in a position to be able to be doing what they need to do, and they're going to be pushing you too hard and probably not in the right directions. So be aware of that urgency scenario. Motivation, why are they doing it? Are they relocating? Is this a new business? Are they expanding? Having the motivation behind why they're purchasing or why they're leasing or why they're selling is absolutely critical. Expectations, again, expectations. I should have that in big letters. The market, what are they seeing in the market? What do they think is happening in the market? What do they think that their ability is to meet what the market is saying it is right now, whether it's purchase or sale or lease? What do those dollars look like? And have the marketing reports available for them so that you can show them what the competition is doing or what other properties of that like are going for, so that you have support for it, not just what you're saying. Resources, you make sure that they have the funding and the finances, and it needs to be, if just saying that they've got it, particularly on the leases, is not going to fly, because a lot of people will say they have it and they don't. And you get to a letter of intent, or you get closer to doing a lease, and you find out they don't have the money to do it, or they don't understand that they needed tenant improvement dollars, so they have to buy all the fixtures, furnitures, and equipment for their property. Authorization, not just authorization for the credit check. Are they the person that makes the decision? You can always find that out. If you say to them, are you the decision maker? They're going to tell you yes. So you can say to them, who's going to sign the lease? That way you're going to know who's going to sign the lease, who's going to sign the listing agreement, who's going to sign the exclusive representation agreement that I'm going to be providing you. If they tell you who that is, and if it's them, that's great. But you also have to confirm that they will be making the decision on the lease, or sometimes it's a committee. If it's a company or a corporation, it has to go before a board, or there's a real estate department, or there are other people that are going to be involved. If you're involved with not-for-profits or churches, there's going to be committees that you're involved with. So understand who the decision maker or makers are, and always have an exclusive rep agreement. And your listing agreement is part of that. That is your exclusive representation and listing. So always have that representation agreement in writing. Next slide, please. Okay, this is what we were the previous page was all the numerals, okay? And this is the numeral rating qualifications. Rate each qualification 1 to 5. If it's 15 points or below, they're not qualified. If you rate each of those previous qualifications 1 to 5, okay? If it's 16 to 22, these are numbers that you can play with yourself. These were what recommendations are that we found does fit into the industry. 16 to 22 points, they're a good prospect. If some areas are strong, if they got good financials, or they've got previous background or history, and they've run a successful business, so they have strong tax returns. A very good prospect is 22 to 32. Don't let them get away. They're qualified. And most of the time, these people will respond very quickly to your request for all the documentation that you're asking for. The 16 to 22 may take a little bit longer to get it. Don't hesitate in pushing them to get it, because you'll find out those really good prospects, they'll get you what you need. They'll get you what you need to be able to provide to the landlord. And then the perfect qualifications, I don't think it exists. If it does, let me know if you see one that does. And again, this is an evaluation point system that I've put together through recommendations from other brokers, and it helps me to determine and helps others determine, where they are. Naturally, there are exceptions. And, it'll be, believe it or not, your gut instincts are probably going to be the best qualifier. You're going to know. If you have the other things that are in place and something tells you this one isn't going to fly, more than likely you're going to be right, because we have life experiences, we have business experiences, we have real estate experiences in commercial real estate, or we have the experience of life. And we know, your gut instincts are just a combination of our life experiences and the knowledge that we have about the world and things that are going on. So, and your gut will tell you if it turns over and it says, this doesn't feel right, you better listen to it, because there might be something in there that you think is wrong, but you don't know it exactly. But listen to your gut instincts. The only time I've hesitated and listening to my gut instincts, I regretted it. So never let the client see this evaluation. If you're evaluating them, don't do it in front of them so that they don't see this one. Next slide, please. I think Tris probably jumped into and put a a couple of things into the chat box so that the documents links are in there too. So make sure that you copy the chat box before you get off here, so that the chat box may not come through when we're doing the recap. So, and we get to the replay of that. So make sure that you copy the chat box so that you have those documents in there. When you're looking at your client, these are the things, I mean, just in general, you're setting your business standards. You teach people how to treat you. And in this respect, it's very important for those that really, that, you know, they're pushing you, or they may not have the ability or the capabilities to be able to do what they want to do. So having your business standards and saying to them, well, they say, I don't want to sign an exclusive. Well, this is the way I do business. I do this for my clients. This is how I handle business. This is the way I do business. These are my business standards. And that's what you stick to. You don't have to defend it. That's how you do business. So it's really important that you make that clear to them, that your standards are high and that you perform at the highest level. And sometimes people say, well, you know, I really don't want them to sign. You know, I hesitate to ask them to sign. You know, I may not be that experienced in this area, something like that. I said, give them an out. Say, if I don't perform for you in a certain period of time, you've got 2 weeks to fire. You know, you can fire me in 2 weeks. Don't put it 6 months or a year on or whatever. If they're hesitating about this, you know, say, if you're really worried about this, that you're going to get stuck with me, if I don't perform, you can fire me. Just make sure, and in your exclusive representation agreement, that you have yourself covered of anything that you've shown them or you've introduced them before, so that if they do go back and they do fire you, that you have that in writing of all the deals and the transactions that you were the promoting factor for. So make sure that you have that in there. Raising the bar. I would say over 75% of my one-on-one clients and the majority of my commercial mentorship program clients have doubled. I'll say my one-on-one clients have doubled or tripled their income because of this standard of making sure that they're qualifying their client, and they've raised the bar of the value of their transaction. They were doing business under 500,000. They raised it to 750. They were doing business under 750. They raised it to $1 million. When they raised it to $1 million, it went to $1.2 million. It went to $2 million. There is a mindset that happens when you start looking at the quality of the deals and the transactions you're involved with. Whether you're at $1 million or $5 million deal, and you start looking at the higher dollar value, it will happen. If you're at the 500 or 750 million dollar value, if you start looking at the higher dollar value, they'll be coming in at that higher dollar value. And it's just the way it works. I don't know, it's magic. When you put it in your plan, and you can talk to my clients about it, they all have had the same experience when they raise that value of the quality of their deals. It also enhances their commission tremendously. And you're dealing with better quality clients, because they know what they're doing. They've been around the pike. They have experience. If they've got $1 million in assets and they're comfortable in doing commercial real estate and they've done business before, you're going to have a much easier transaction. Not always easy, but it's an easier transaction. Ready, willing, and able. But as you can see, my expectations are on the side of all of this. This is the most critical factor, expectations. Landlord requirements, it's not what we're asking for. It's not us personally as a broker. It's what the landlord is requiring. It's what the market, it's what commercial real estate requires us to do. Use the numeral, which we have the link in the chat box to do that. And I see somebody really like that the numeral coding aspect of that. So that's good. Love that point system. You're welcome. So how hard do we need to push for a slide deck for a tenant? I don't know what that question means, but I'll get to questions here in just a minute. So hang on one second here. Next slide, please. Oh, no, before we do that, numeral. Here's for those of you that know me, I'm called the go ugly early gal. I'm called the goo gal. And the reason I say that is if you're working with a client and they don't want to sign a representation agreement, get out. if they're not going to, if they're arguing with you about what the market is and they can do something better than you say that the market is, and you know that what their expectations are not going to work, leave it behind, wish them luck, and move on. You don't have time to convince people. So, and if they won't sign a representation agreement with you, it's time to move on. Just let them know it's the way you do business, and you do that. You do all of these aspects. You do all of this, working with them and helping them negotiate the deal and working through this whole process and doing the research and helping them get to the closing table and whatever else it takes to make this happen. But you do that for your clients, and the clients are one that signed exclusive representations with you. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, go ugly early. You'll hear me say that a lot. Okay, we're going to stop here for a minute. I've been talking a lot, and we've got a few minutes left here. I see that there were some questions that came across. I see someone had asked, let me see what it is. Let me pull up the chat box here. It says, how do we need to push for a slide deck for a tenant? I'm not sure what that means, Kevin. Can you give me more information on that? Kevin Kohler, are you still on with us?
Yes, like when we're doing tenant rep, say for like a retail plaza,
Right.
Bringing a store in, and then they're always asking, do you have the slide deck available, or do you have a deck that you can send us regarding the company and the, history, how many locations, all that type of information. So the pretty, marketing PowerPoint thing, because I run into a lot of businesses that are maybe starting to build one, or they kind of have one, but how do we approach that in a more cohesive manner?
Okay, you mean they're asking for pretty marketing materials from your prospective tenant?
Yeah, we get a lot of landlords that are saying, oh, well, if you don't have the deck, then you're not really a viable tenant.
I tell you what, I've never heard that before. So my response to that would be, quite honestly, I have all of their financials. They are financially sound. I have their history. I have, their bank statements. I have the 2 years of tax returns, and I have their business plan. I have the facts.
Okay.
And after you see those, if you want some more information or further details, I'll be glad to work with the company, and we'll provide that to you. It just sounds to me like the broker, probably a broker that's saying that to you. The broker that's saying that to you has been stung before by people that came to them and didn't give them qualified tenants. So what they're saying to me, give me qualified tenants. If you can give me qualified tenants, I'll pay attention. So they're thinking the slide deck. So say yes to the slide deck and then send them the financials. Send them everything.
Yeah, it's just not put through the marketing machine. That's all.
Exactly. Here's what you're really looking for. Isn't that what you really want, Mr. Landlord or Mr. Landlord Broker, Miss Landlord Broker? See, I'm gender correct. Okay, tenant application, we'll send that along too. I'm looking to see if there's any other questions in here. And meanwhile, while I'm looking through this, if there's another question, let me know. I'll be more than happy to chat with you about it. It would be helpful for all of us if we had a one sheet with how KW is currently in the industry versus having to buy one from someone one limited knowledge. Who's our GCI? Okay. Joey, tell me a little bit what you're looking for here.
It would be a one sheet that we could put in our presentations to clients to show the data that you had just mentioned, that we're $22 billion in sales this last year, et cetera, et cetera. Because I know that there's some stuff in launch with Alicia, and there's a few things floating around, but all the data I'm looking at is always really old.
It's old.
And we're always looking, for help from each other. So a current one sheeter uploaded to our Facebook page and files would be awesome.
I know the $22 billion just came down to us Friday. Okay, so I'm sure they haven't had time to do that. And part of the reason we haven't had marketing materials before is we had no documentation. We had nothing that we could support the dollar number evaluation of our transactions with. We do now. That's what we've been working on for a long time now, and we do have it. So I'm sure that there's going to be something, because Cynthia and Alicia and all of us, in leadership are so proud of the fact that we're $22 billion, that we're going to be shooting up that shooting up that chain, way above where we've been before when these numbers get out there into the media. So, and the other thing that we would like to impress upon you, if you're on CoStar, make sure that CoStar was getting the wrong information, that a lot of the CoStar accounts were under an individual market center's name or something like that, and it really needs to say KW Commercial. Yes, you can use your market center information, but it needs to say KW Commercial so that CoStar will recognize it and that dollar transaction gets attributed to us. Does that make sense? So make sure that you're working with, your people to get that done. And I'm sure that we're going to have something here fairly soon on the 22 billion. I know that Cynthia and Alicia are so proud of that. So I know that we're going to have something fairly soon. Okay, I'm just let me know. There's got to be another question or two that I can help you with. I know that one of the things, perfect info on CoStar. Thank you. Does anyone have experience marketing a ground up 60+ acre retail site? Oh, that's a good one. If there's something I can help you with that, just give me a ring and I'll be more than happy to see if I can't point you in the direction with somebody. Also, I'd suggest if you've got a retail opportunity like that, Joe Montgomery, our head of the retail specialty group that we have once a month, talk to him and make sure that you talk to him about that, because I'm sure that he can probably give you some details and information, without you having to, share part of the deal or whatever, because I'm sure he'll be just give you 10 or 15 minutes guidance, or if, whatever it is that you would like to gain information from him. So call Joe and Montgomery in the retail specialty group. You'll see him on the calendar every month. So you'll have the contact information there. Yeah. That's a good thing. Let me do this. I should have done this in the beginning, but I'm going to do it now. Type into the chat box, yes, if you're a member of KW Commercial, and type into the chat box, no, if you're not a part of KW Commercial. Let's see how many yeses and how many no's we have. Oh, we got a lot of yeses. If you're no, consider it. Okay. Yes. KW. Yes. Oh, how cool. And for those of you that are with KW Commercial, you're going to hear the announcement, and I think it just came out the end of last week on the Commercial Summit. So I think we have a date, and we are very close to announcing all of that. Shad, what's your question?
Yeah, I just got buried, but I've struggled recently, over the years, of how to educate residential agents on referrals on what's good and what's not. I get buried because I'm the only commercial broker in our office of 200 residential agents. I get buried with referrals, and I'm having to tell people no and no more often, and it feels like I'm losing relationships because I'm telling them no because it doesn't feel good. Okay,
I have a solution. You don't have to tell them no. You have a system where you take the lead information from them. You either communicate and speak to the tenant possibly first, or it's usually a tenant, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You speak to them first, or you send them out an email that says, these are the requirements for all tenants by landlords. You must have a business plan. You need to have a financial statement. We need to have your bank statement for the last 2 months. And the other criteria and complete this tenant application with the financial information. When you've completed that, I'll be glad to take you on the journey and show you the location after you have completed also and finalized the exclusive representation agreement. Now you're not turning them down. Now you've put all the responsibility on them to show you that they're qualified. Your residential agent isn't capable of qualifying them. Okay.
That's great. Yeah,
and
that's great.
What you do is you put the burden where it belongs, and you don't have to say to your relationship, I'm really, I'm not going to take it because it's too small or they're not qualified. You don't have to do that. You just say, I've sent them all the qualification information and they haven't responded yet. If you want them to respond, please contact them and tell them to get in touch with me and provide the details that I need for the landlord. I'll be
That's
glad to
awesome,
work with. I'll be glad to work with them. And this is people will treat you like you allow them to treat. You know, people will treat you like you teach them to. Okay, so if you teach your residential agents that you will help them, and you will help their prospects, but you're only going to help the ones that are qualified. But it's not up to them to qualify them or you. It's up for the tenant to qualify or the prospect to qualify themselves to you so that you can qualify them to the landlord.
That's great. I
Does that
appreciate
help?
that. Thank you. Yes.
And always, when you're talking to your tenants and your buyers, always use the terms the landlord or the landlord's broker, or if it's, you know, pricing, whatever, say the market says, not that, you know, I can't find anything. I mean, if it was in the market, you could find it. So you're not going to say, I can't find it. You can say the market doesn't, market just doesn't have this. If it were out there, we could find it for you, but it's just not out there. What you're looking for, we don't have. So always use the market and use the landlord and use the landlord's broker as your backup.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, Shad.
Can I ask a question, Dale?
Sure, Celia.
This is Cecilia Hampton from Dallas.
Sure, Cecilia.
I actually grew from residential agent to commercial and land and development myself. And I
Right.
have a team. This is my 10th year with KW. I love it. This is my family.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, and the thing is that I have a group of 12 people that we're actually the biggest group in our market center. We have multiple agents that join us, and also one would love to explore and learn commercial and get into the commercial. Previously, we've lined up with and registered and paid the fees, but now with the associate with the CoStar, those kind of costs are extremely high. I just want to get your advice. If some residential agents still love to get into commercial, how can they really start it? Because that $200 fee is
Perfect.
max
Perfect question.
what they can support.
Perfect question, Cecilia. We have the answer for that too. The
Mhm.
solution for that is education and training. Part of the reason that we've had, you know, disasters before with residential agents dabbling in commercial real estate, that's a 4-letter word, dabbling, is that they haven't had the education. Not that they don't want to, they want to learn about commercial. So we have the best educational learning program in the industry. I was in the corporate world with NAI Global as a principal and shareholder, and I was also with Colliers as a principal. And I've had my own entrepreneurial brokerage firm for was close to 30 years. So I've had, you know, a little bit of the entrepreneur side, and I've been a corporate puppy as well. The training that we have for commercial is the best that there is in the industry. KW Commercial provides the best entrepreneurial spirit and the most incredible corporate support that we have through education and training. And if they want to be a part of it, they need to start doing the training. They need to start with Nucleus. They need to get in and then take the commercial mentorship program. And then they need to start taking all of the trainings that are available for free. If they're part of KW Commercial, the Nucleus training, which normally costs somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000, is free. Why
That's
wouldn't
correct.
you? I mean, you know, for $200 a month, it's free, you know, and the resources that we have inside of KW Commercial are somewhere around $18,000 to $20,000 a year value. And they don't have to
Bill,
join
I think
right away. They don't have to join
Thank you.
KW.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you because I want to honor the other people's time. We have no problem with that. And my agent actually gone through the training already. But now with the CoStar only, that has to combine with the fees on top of the $200. That's a burden because right now they
There's
don't.
nothing, I know what you're going to ask. And no, there's nothing we can do about that. Honestly, we have tried. CoStar is the gorilla.
Yeah,
We have
that's-
tried to do national with them. It's not us that's not doing it. It's CoStar will not allow us to do it in a certain way that we need to do it. The franchisees or the franchise companies that we have inside KW, that's where it has to be located as far as the billing is concerned. And that's the only way that CoStar will allow it to happen. And we've tried to do a national account and they just will not let us do this. So I've been here for 13, 14 years And there's no way that's going to happen. So the best I can tell you is to work with your regional ambassador for your particular region and see if there's a group of people that are coming together that are using a group membership, and see if there's something that's available in your region. And if you would like to talk to me offline about that, I'd be more than happy to, Cecilia.
Got you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know it's a beast, and we know CoStar is a beast, and it's a love-hate relationship. It's the best that there is in the industry, and we hate paying the money, and it's a beast. So we have to work it the best we can. Is there another question? I know that I may have missed one before because it went back deep in the questions here. So if you had a question and you put it into the chat box and I didn't answer it, please raise your hand and let me know, or just speak out.
This is Kenneth Woods in Memphis.
Yes, Kenneth.
So yeah, whenever we get off the call, we'd definitely like to ask you some more questions. But pretty much the situation that I have is that I've been working with this lender who took over the note on a 182 unit apartment complex. And I've been doing work for him so far. And so he's unsure whether he's going to end up fixing it up and selling it or selling it as is, but they're going to pretty much end up using me, but I don't know what to charge those guys for the work that I've done so far.
Okay.
And then I'm still
Kenneth,
earning commercial.
Yeah, that's very specific to you. So let's talk after this. I'll show you my phone number and communications. We can do that after. Okay. You're welcome. I'll be more than happy to. And I'm not putting you off. I'll be more than happy to.
Totally
And
understand.
probably a consulting fee.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Dale, I have a question regarding prospecting. What's your suggestion? What's the best way to prospect for qualified buyers?
For qualified buyers, well, it depends on the product. What is it that what kind of buyers are you looking for? Is it retail? Is it industrial? Is it office? Is it medical office? What is it?
No, I've been doing multifamily for like the last 10 years.
Oh,
But it's gotten
multifamily.
it's gotten real tough. So I'm trying to redirect my business in another direction. I'm in Miami, and it's just gotten crazy with the prices and finding people that are willing. The entrenched buyers are not willing to pay what the market is at right now.
I know.
So I'm trying to basically my database that I've built up throughout the years is worthless at this point. So I'm trying to find a different direction for my company, and I like working with buyers, to be honest.
I apologize. My vicious dog. I understand. I have been in the industry for 3 decades. I have been through recessions. I have been through 4 to 5 shifts in the market. I was a land broker for first 15 years of my career. I ended up doing dollar stores across the nation and put $50 stores in place across the nation without ever leaving my desk. So, and that was a whole new gambit for me. I mean, I go back to kindergarten, so I understand what you're saying. Definitely have some ideas for you. And it depends. Some of it depends, pretty broad, but it depends on what the market is doing. Like at one point in time, multifamily and industrial was a hot ticket. I mean,
Yep.
That was it. I mean, if you weren't doing multifamily and industrial, you were okay, but one of the markets that is always out there is medical office, healthcare. Whether we're old or young, whether we're growing families or whether we're getting old, we need the healthcare. And that has been a lifesaver in a lot of commercial deals. It's a very specific market in the healthcare world, but it also has to deal with office. So office and retail can kind of go together with those situations. Mm-hmm. So you can look at those scenarios. Sometimes working with buyers first. Are you working with buyers, or are you looking to work with?
My honestly, just what I've learned throughout the years, I'm 50 years old. I work better with buyers. I just do.
I'll tell you, in a market that's shifting like this, sometimes working with your buyers and your tenants is the way to go.
Okay.
Let's talk offline. There's something what we call circular marketing.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that you've done recently with a listing or with a property that you've had or whatever, you can take that property or find something that's moved quickly recently and then do circle marketing around it. Go to every property owner around it and do some investigation and research that way. Talk to your economic development council for Dade County. for Dade County. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Talk to your Economic Development Council and get marketing materials, and then find out where the growth is. Find out where the growth is going, what they're recommending. They're not going to give you prospects, but they can give you direction. They can give you trends. They can give you marketing materials. They can help you reach out.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay. Any other questions? Let me see if there's something over here.
Yeah, I had a question, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Sure.
Yeah, so for somebody that has, a lot of properties across the US, what's the best way to find what program would you use to find the true owners for all their properties? I mean, or is it just going to be tedious going one by one?
I'd like to tell you that there's an easier task, but we have to be detectives in this world. Most recently, I was working with a group of people, and we were talking about, what do we do for for a better term, skip tracing. So there were some examples of that. If you'd like to reach me offline, I've got 4 or 5 of those different scenarios that if you're looking for exact, information of who this person is or who this business is, that there are some free resources that we can use to kind of track things down.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, Andrew, reach me offline. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions at the moment? You're welcome, Bridget. So what else do we have here? Okay. Tristan, would you take me to the last slide, please? One more click. This is something that I wanted to make y'all aware of. As I said, the Nucleus program is just finishing up with KW Commercial. Alicia's just finishing up her program the first week in May. Following the first week in May, we have the Commercial Mentorship Program, which is a 6-month-long program for those that are looking for a mentor or they already have a mentor, but they don't have enough time, energy, or effort, the mentor doesn't, to be able to spend with them to answer specific questions or to work with them on kind of a day-to-day basis. This program is set up to do that. I am the coach for that program. This was something that y'all had been asking for. We've been asking for this for probably many, many years. And so we have developed a curriculum that is excellent, that goes everywhere from their product types to talking about the deals, transactions, letters of intent, the systems, the programs, the processes, negotiations, anything and everything that has to do with the mentorship or with commercial real estate. So, and we have 6 months to do it in. It's a weekly program. I give an hour a week at least, but usually more. And then we have masterminds in between. So if you're interested in getting involved, one of the things I wanted this group to be aware of, because we got a really good group on here, is if you're part of this group here and you sign up and register for the commercial mentorship group, which is $199 a month, we take off $100 for the first month that you're into the program. So it's only $99 for you to have the first month in the program. So, and we've got a registration link here. I believe that's going to be into it's in the link is mentorship program is in your chat box. So we'd love to have you in there. I think part of the thing that's really exciting about the mentorship program is that the camaraderie that's built between other people, your colleagues that are just like you. We have everyone that's, from beginning in commercial real estate all the way up to those that have been in the industry for 20, 30 years. So we are a broad scope of learning and education and exchange of ideas. So it's sometimes I call it reverse mentorship, because I'm learning from y'all as well as y'all learning from each other. So it really is a great opportunity for you to get involved in something like this. And so if you have any questions about this, let me know too. And I believe if the last slide has my contact information on it, Tris, it does. Okay, so you can reach me at ddonovan@kwcommercial.com. That's my phone number. It'd be better if you text me first, because I'm a one-on-one coach. So I'm not going to answer a call when I'm coaching my one-on-one for my mastery clients. So text me and we'll set up a time that we can talk. And I'll definitely get you on the schedule and we'll get it as quickly as possible. And then you can always reach me through email. And that's easier for me. It may take me, probably I will respond to you within 24 hours. Okay. So I am so glad you've all been here. If you have any questions after the fact, please let me know. And if there's those of you that are looking to bring on or to introduce other commercial agents into KW Commercial, we have great opportunities for you to be able to do that. And for those of you that are in KW Commercial, please use your Kajabi website. It's a different website or a different platform than the Kajabi for Nucleus. So there is a Kajabi website. How many are using the Kajabi website for your resources and marketing? Okay, not everybody. It's got our calendar on it. It has our marketing tools on it. It has our onboarding process. It's what you do as an agent 30, 60, 90 days into the company. It's also a refresher course for those who've been here for a long time. What have you been doing what have you not been doing that you could have been doing to get your business moving forward with the resources and tools that we have? So get on the Kajabi platform. If you're not there, email admin@kwcommercial.com. admin@kwcommercial.com and ask for access to your Kajabi platform. They will send you an email with a link and a temporary password. You'll go online, change your password, and now you've got the Kajabi platform that has your calendar and all your trainings on it. That's where all the trainings are. It's amazing. And all of our calendar too. Unless there's another question, I'm going to thank you all again for being on board. I look forward to speaking to any of you, and let me help you grow your business. I look forward to it. Have a great day and talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.